jana vallabha girivardhari Gopi jana vallabha girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi jana vallabha girivardhari Gopi jana vallabha girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivachakacharya Statira Sata Shri Srimad Chidanda Goswami Shilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayom Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivachakacharya Statira Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we're continuing the 10th canto, chapter 49. And this is text. We're going to read, which verses we chant? 29, right? Okay. So, yeah. That's the wrong one. Let me bring it up. It's easier for me to read this than, there we go. So, we can chant together? Ah, there it is, okay. Yo durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ sṛṣṭvā guṇān vibhajate tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya yo durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ sṛṣṭvā guṇān vibhajate tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya
durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ
tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra. saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya. durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ.
guṇān vibhajate tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ. tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra. saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya.
Ladies? durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ. guṇān vibhajate tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ. tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra. saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya. durvimarśa-pathayā nija-māyayedaṁ. guṇān vibhajate tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ. tasmai namo duravabodha-vihāra-tantra. saṁsāra-cakra-gataye parameśvarāya. Yaha who durvimarśa inconceivable, pathayā whose path, nija by his own, māyayā creative energy, idam this universe, sṛṣṭvā creating, guṇān its modes, vibhajate he distributes, tad within it, anupraviṣṭaḥ entering, tasmai to him, namaḥ obeisances, duravabodha unfathomable, vihāra of whose pastimes, tantra the purport, saṁsāra of birth and death, chakra the cycle, gataye and liberation, coming from whom? Parama-īśvarāya to the Supreme Controller. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I offer my obeisances to Him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who creates this universe by the inconceivable activity of His material energy, and then distributes the various modes of nature by entering within the creation. From Him, the meaning of whose pastimes is unfathomable, come both the entangling cycle of birth and death and the process of deliverance from it. Purport. When all is said and done, Dhritarashtra was not an ordinary person, but an associate of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Certainly, an ordinary person could not offer such a learned hymn to the Lord. correction, this translation and purport are by the disciples of His Divine Grace. So we'll just read the following 2 verses as well, because we are supposed to do that.
We're enjoying it so much. Because we're enjoying it so much.
Verse, yes, that's right. That's right. Next. Shishuko vacha iti abhipretya niprater abhiprayam sayadavaha sudriddhivisam samanugyata punarihadu purim-agat. Sukadeva Goswami said, having thus apprised himself of the king's attitude, Akrura, the descendant of Yadu, took permission from his well-wishing relatives and friends and returned to the capital of the Yadavas. And the last verse, Saṁsāra-Krishna-bhyam Dhritarashtra-vicheshtitam Pandavan pratikoravya yadartam preshita-svayam. Akrura reported to Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna how Dhritarashtra was behaving toward the Pandavas. Thus, O descendant of the Gurus, he fulfilled the purpose for which he had been sent. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 49th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Akrura's Mission in Hastinapur. Om Agyanaktavrandasya Gyanam Janashalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaḥ Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangu Lankayate Guri Gripatamaham Vande Shri Guruni Atari Paramanānamadam Shri Chaitanya. Hare Krishna. Please allow me, may I have your permission, and all of you, to try to demonstrate by this talk the topic I felt was coming through, inconceivable. So I think the first inconceivable thing is that I'm sitting here. How is it possible? Many of us, I think all of us, also reflect back, and we reflect, how is it possible? In fact, for a long time, it's starting to ebb. One of my core doubts in this path of Krishna consciousness was, how is it possible that I could be able, or I could be here, that this absolute truth would reveal itself to me? And the conclusion is, well, maybe it's not actually the absolute truth, because how do I deserve to be recipient of such great knowledge? I mean, there's billions of people out there walking around, and they all have their experiences and so on. Many of them also have some idea that they have received the absolute truth in some way or other. And so I thought, how is it conceivable that I, amongst those billions, have received such knowledge? And it is actually inconceivable, because I have no qualification. I thought we could reflect more on this word, inconceivable. In this particular verse, Dhritarashtra, he describes twice, first with the word, he uses the term durvimarśa. I was curious if this word was used anywhere else, and according to Vedabase, at least in Prabhupada's books, BBT books, I should say, it isn't. This is the singular use of the term in this one verse. He also uses the term duravabodha. Now there is a common syllable, I guess, that begins both of these. Dur. We have, this is I think in Hindi also dur, right? In Bengali dur. Dur. Kitna dur hai? Right? How far is it? Bahut dur. Kitu dur na. Bengali. Usually I mix. Dur means far. So durlabam. Labam to achieve something, to get something. So durlabam, meaning that achievement is dur, it's far away. And here, I don't know what is vimarsha or avabodha, but they're translated as being inconceivable and unfathomable. Now, the word that we most commonly associate with inconceivable is achintya, right? Achintya. So this achintya has a little different connotation. When we talk about dur, that means it's far, far away. It's very difficult. There's the term dur is also used in relationship to difficulty. So it's far away, it's difficult, but it's still, you could say, well, it's still possible. But achintya, chintya meaning to conceive of something, to be aware of something. When it is achintya, it cannot be conceived. It is achintya, inconceivable. There are many things that are, aside from me sitting here, that are inconceivable. Inconceivable, why? Why are they inconceivable? I wanted to explore that. How can something be inconceivable? And what category, what are the kinds of things that are inconceivable? Now, of course, one aspect of inconceivability is that we don't have the equipment to conceive of it. Like, for example, we don't have the sensual equipment. We cannot conceive of something because we don't have the ability to perceive it. So being able to conceive of something is often associated with our ability to perceive it. So something that can be said to be inconceivable to us simply because we can't perceive it. But then we move to an intellectual platform and we start to say, well, I may not be able to perceive this, but I can intellectually perceive it. And this is generally the realm that the modern day physicists go into. Yes, well, I cannot perceive it, yes, with my senses, but I can intellectually perceive it through mathematics. Through mathematics and other intellectual processes. And then the conclusion is, well, then it makes sense to me. Now, I have attempted to make sense out of, have you attempted to make sense out of quantum mechanics? No, you haven't even attempted. I've tried. Have you tried? No. Any physicists in the audience? No? Okay, then I'm on safe ground. I can... There are, in quantum theory, there are all these paradoxes. One of them is nicknamed as Schrödinger's cat, I think it's called. And it's based on the theories of quantum mechanics, which have been verified through experiments in the laboratories. The Schrödinger's cat exists and doesn't exist. According to quantum theory, a particle of, and this is the famous two-slit experiment of quantum mechanics, where they show how a light wave going through different, and again, I haven't got my head around this. To me, it's still inconceivable that this light wave, up to the point of being observed, has simultaneously the ability to be in this way or that. I can't even remember how it goes, but it's different directions, etc. I mean, if you really want to get into this, go back and study quantum theory. But it's, to our intellectual capacity, it is inconceivable, this simultaneous existence in one way and in another way. And yet in the laboratories, experiments have been made and so on that demonstrate that it's there, but we can't understand it. Simultaneous existing and not existing. Schrödinger's cat is simultaneously dead and alive. So even within the material world, the functioning of this world is inconceivable to us. So what to speak now? I turned that off, I thought, but I am going to turn it off now completely. So what to speak of Krishna? Now, Dhritarashtra here, he, just to take another point of this verse, he appears to be using this understanding of the nature of reality as somewhat of an excuse for his behavior. He says, well, it's all inconceivable. Why I'm doing what I'm doing, I don't know. It's in the previous, he said, it's fate. It's destiny. In Vishwanath, I think, Vishwanath's commentary on this, he paraphrases Dhritarashtra, and he says he has him saying this. I'll just read it. It's very nice. Akrura, Krishna inspired you to enlighten Dhritarashtra by sending you here to give me knowledge. And Krishna also inspired me. Don't be enlightened. Who can fathom the purpose of Krishna's incomprehensible pastimes? And don't tell me that I've fallen into the wheel of samsara, because I know that Krishna will also deliver me in the future. Saṁsāra-cakra-gataye. So Dhritarashtra is using this inconceivability as a platform to justify, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's inconceivable. It's Krishna's pastimes. The Mayavadis use this inconceivability to explain, well, when we question But if Brahman, the Absolute, is all-powerful, then how is it that Brahman becomes influenced by Maya? And then we get some response like, well, it is Leela. Inconceivable. Leela. So similarly here, Dhritarashtra says, it's Krishna's Leela that I am doing what I'm doing. He puts the blame on Krishna. And to us it also then becomes inconceivable because yes, it is Krishna. It is Krishna's Leela. Everything is Krishna's Leela. Everything is Krishna. How many times in the Bhagavad Gita, do we have Krishna saying, this and this and this, I am that. This and this and this, I am that. I am that. I am this, I am that. He covers everything. And everything he doesn't cover, he covers by saying, I am everything. And then he says, and I'm also not everything. Everything is in me, and yet I'm not in everything. This is the inconceivable nature of Krishna. He is simultaneously, Bheda and abheda. This question of oneness and difference has been the theme of Vedanta philosophy since the beginning of, at least what we know of the history of Vedantists, beginning with Shankaracharya, and then Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, and Vallabhacharya is most recent, who have coined different Vedantic schools. Shankaracharya, he focused fully on the oneness of God, which you can support. Krishna says, I am everything. And that feature is there. That one feature, Brahman feature of the Absolute is true. And Shankaracharya tries to establish that this is the ultimate. That all distinctions, all differences, all distinctions, all within that we see and perceive are simply illusions. They're simply illusions. They have no reality in and of themselves. We know how then Ramanujacharya, he countered all of those arguments and gave his own presentation of Vedanta, which became known as Vishishtadvaita, or qualified Advaita. Yes, everything is there. There is only one. And qualities are also part of that one. Quality is also part of that oneness. So to say that that Brahman has no qualities means that you're taking something out from the Absolute. So yes, there is oneness, but that oneness has qualities. Madhva had some difference. He made a distinction between the one supreme and the jivas, the expansions, and the world. That they're individually distinct. So his philosophy was Dvaita, dualism. And Nimbarka brought things back together Beda, and Vallabhacharya as well. But then Mahaprabhu comes. And Mahaprabhu takes all of these perspectives of oneness and difference, and gives us this beautiful summary. Achintya Beda. He lets us enter into this inscrutable world of philosophy that most of us, well, at least I'm speaking of myself, get confused trying to enter into it and understand the Sanskrits and this and all the philosophical ideas. And he gave us this beautiful perspective that the oneness and the difference, the simultaneous oneness and difference, is in fact inconceivable to us. In preparation, I looked for Srila Prabhupada talking on this topic. And there's a beautiful conversation in 1972. Revati Nandan is there. Hansadutta is there. Who else was there? And a few others. And they're talking about this with Srila Prabhupada. Inconceivable. Oneness and difference. I think they come from some program. And Prabhupada is repeating again and again, it's inconceivable. The oneness and the difference. He gives examples of oneness and difference, and we have many examples that help us to try to understand this. Like, for example, we all are familiar, the sun and the rays of the sun. Okay, so the sun globe and the rays of the sun are both different and they're the same. So Prabhupada gives the example of my finger is both independent, but it's also my body. So it's part of my body. So the example of a king and his representative. So many different examples are there that kind of give us an approach to understanding this oneness and difference. How God is both one with his creation and yet different. But ultimately, he says, as the conversation goes, it's actually inconceivable. How God is simultaneously present. Right there. Right there. He's here, he's there, he's there, he's here, he's there. Krishna's everywhere. And yet, he's far away. The Ishopanishad, as I remember when I first joined the temple, joined ISKCON, I came under the care of Rupanuga Prabhu in Buffalo, and he was a wonderful leader, and he had us engaged in, this was 1970, 70, yeah. He had us engaged in 4 classes a day. We had Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, and Ishopanishad. So we were really, it was like BIHE, but it was, and then we went on Sankirtan in the afternoon. So at that time, I actually memorized most of the Ishopanishad, but I'm now kind of rusty. But what is it? It's who has memorized? I think it's tad-anupraviṣṭaḥ. It's the one that he's far away and he's near. Who has memorized it? I can look it up. Yes. I'm near, but I'm far. I'm right here. I'm right here. Krishna is saying, I am right with you. And yet, I'm beyond everything. So, this simultaneously being here and beyond, we can get a sense of it that with those analogies and so on, but ultimately we can't conceive of it. And so what is Prabhupada's conclusion? I'll read it from here. Give me a second if I get to it. I hope I can get back to it. Oh boy, now I've lost it. I had my computer all set up for this, and now... Anyway, I'll paraphrase. Therefore, we just have to learn to love him. We cannot understand him. He says, how could... We're so... our intelligence is limited. So what to speak of us, the scholars, they can't understand him. And he says, Krishna can't understand himself. How can we understand Krishna? We simply have to love him. And of course this is exemplified here in Vraja. The Vrajavasis. They weren't Vedantists. They weren't absorbed in philosophical understandings and trying to, parse out the words of the Shrutis and the Vedantas and so on. They simply were in love. And that love is inconceivable to us. The ultimate expression. We were in the Govardhan retreat, and we were hearing the earlier visits of Akrura from Mathura. Well, when he first left Mathura, he came to bring Krishna to Mathura. And when we heard about the love of the Vrajagopis for Krishna, how much pain appeared in their words. How much pain. They described that we are going to die without you. Their love was so intense. And yet, we've understood from our acharyas that this pain was ecstatic. It was full of ecstasy. To me, that's inconceivable. I just... There is, further in our retreat, we were hearing about Gopakumar's journey. And in one place, I'm not sure, maybe Narayana, you can tell me, who talks about the ice? Is that there's Rupa Goswami? Yes. So how you take ice and the feeling that you feel that it's burning. And eventually that burning sensation gives way to a sort of numbness. And the explanation is that burning is actually not real, and the numbness is. So the burning pain that the gopis are experiencing is there to support an underlying ecstasy. To me, it's inconceivable. Gopakumar experiences this too. When he enters into Goloka finally. He exclaims that I can't tell whether I'm in a burning forest fire or I'm in the cooling waters of the Jamuna. So in this way, the love, the feelings of love and separation, they're beyond our conception. What to speak of that love and separation, that ultimate, that highest level of prema bhakti? For me, I'm down here. And even the basic experience that we understand, that on the basis of Krishna's oneness, that he is fully present in his holy names. He's fully present. When I say Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna is there. When we look to the altars, Gauranga, Nityananda, Krishna, Balaram, Radha, Shyama Sundar, Lalita, Vishaka, they're all there. And yet to me, it's inconceivable. I can kind of get an idea, yes, because philosophically I understand, all right, God is everywhere, he can accept a form, whatever he likes. So philosophically I can have some understanding, but to actually see it and actually taste it, actually conceive of it. Because conceivable, as we began, is on two levels. One level is intellectual. Can we intellectually conceive? But the real thing is when we actually perceive. That is where we need to get to. So the inconceivable intellectually and sensually from our material perspective becomes conceivable as we progress in our spiritual life. And we can taste. We can actually taste Krishna's presence everywhere. We can taste Krishna present in his holy name. Another theme of our retreat, well, the first, particularly the Holy Name retreat, was based on the 7th verse of the Nectar of Instruction, in which Rupa Goswami describes that just as a person suffering from jaundice has no taste, in fact, if you're born with it, say I mean, for us, when we get to, how many of you have had jaundice? Already you've had jaundice. Okay, not here, somewhere else. Okay, because you've just come to India. Anyway, those of us you had jaundice. We heard you talking about your jaundice, and how Prabhupada said, maybe I have jaundice. Anyway, I know I've had jaundice. When you have jaundice, you can't taste what's sweet is bitter. Sweet things become bitter to taste. There are other. COVID has also had similar effects, so maybe you've had that. But in the state of jaundice, as Rupa Goswami, and he says, how amazing it is that just as one who is suffering from jaundice and cannot taste the sweetness of sugar, by taking that sugar becomes cured, so similarly, we who are suffering in the jaundice of avidya, we're ignorant, we don't understand, we cannot understand Krishna and Krishna's presence. We don't see, we don't perceive, It's inconceivable, but we can regain our taste simply by applying the same medicine of the holy name. Edechio sholi maya, nashi bharavan. Nama mantra. Now to me, Maki. Take this Maha Mantra, which is inconceivably, simultaneously different to me, because I simply hear the sounds, but one with Krishna, because Krishna is present. Take this Maha Mantra, which is Krishna, and cure yourself of this avidya. Regain our taste, and what has been inconceivable to us then starts to become conceivable by direct perception. Direct perception. Intellectually, we cannot understand. But as we come closer and closer to Krishna, we can perceive his oneness and his difference in the sense of he is there and I am here and we are all together. Hare Krishna. So, we have a few minutes for questions. Microphone?
So, all sound is Krishna, everything is Krishna, so what makes the Maha Mantra different than other sounds? Coca-Cola, or, I mean, everything is Krishna, so is Krishna more present in other places than, why don't we just worship them?
Yes, that exactly is the position of the Mayavadis.
Huh?
We always need Mayavadis, to. I mean, Prabhupada, what he would constantly do, right? He would himself take the position of the Mayavadi in order to stimulate the discussion. You're in good company.
He makes a good Mayavadi.
Yes. There's so many ways to answer that, of course, but what comes to my mind is that the Krishna's presence everywhere is understood to be his Brahman presence. He is present everywhere by his energy. I was reflecting in this respect that Krishna in Vraja is different than Krishna as Mahavishnu. And yet one, it's the same, but the same principle of expansion, that someone's expansions. Many of these examples of oneness and difference are like the Father and the Son are one and different. The king and his representatives are one and different. So Krishna is one with his expansions and his energies, and yet he is different in his personality. So the difference of Krishna's presence in his holy names and in sound in general, because he says, yes, I am the sound. What did he, the sound in ether? What is the, I am sound. He says in Bhagavad Gita, I am sound. So all sound is Krishna. But his name is his personal presence. That would be my response. And now you have to counter.
No counter.
Oh, okay.
No, the different potencies. Just like we know the Panchatattva mantra has more potency. It said, what is it, 100 times, 1,000 times more than the Maha Mantra.
Yes, yes.
So it said, they asked Prabhupada, why do we chant then Maha Mantra? He said, because that's our instruction from Lord Chaitanya.
Yes. In fact, that instruction, I don't know how many, I feel that this should be a required reading for all of us. I think it's the 17th chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, where Mahaprabhu delivers the Maha Mantra to the general public. As we know, Mahaprabhu returns from Gaya and is filled with ecstatic love of Krishna. But he enters into Srivasanga with his close associates to perform kirtan. And the residents of Navadvip they know something's going on here, and they really, the pious residents, of course there's all kinds of atheists in Navadvip at the same time, but the pious residents of Navadvip, they're yearning to be part of this, but as Chaitanya Bhagavat relates, they're saying that because of the atheists in our town, the doors are closed even to good people like us, because Mahaprabhu needs his space. So they are confident that one day they will also experience, and they keep coming to the door, and they make offerings, and it's not clear. Anyway, one day Mahaprabhu comes out, and he gives them instructions, and he says, "Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare." He gives the Maha Mantra to us, beginning with those residents of Navadvip. He tells them, take this Maha Mantra and do japa. And then he also says, and go to your homes, gather your relatives and friends, maybe 5, 6, 10, clap your hands and do kirtan. And then he gives them another song. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopa Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. So he gives them japa with the Maha Mantra and kirtan. This is our movement. This is our movement. So Mahaprabhu, just like you said, Mahaprabhu has given us this Maha Mantra to chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we can be assured, we know from many other statements that Nam Bina, there's no difference. Krishna, and Mahaprabhu tells us also, Nam Namakari Bahuda nija-āyā-sarva-shaktis. Krishna has put all of his potency into his holy names. So let us chant with attention in that same verse. If you can look it up, we don't have time to go into it, but from the Nectar of Instruction, the 7th verse, Rupa Goswami also gives us instruction how to chant, saying that it should be adarata anudina, that we should chant anudina regularly, and adarat with, and the translation that Bhaktivinoda gives for that is with affectionate respect. Adarat anudina. So we chant the holy names, the Maha Mantra, regularly with adarat, and we can perceive what is now inconceivable to us. Any other questions? Or we have no time, it's 9 o'clock. Should end here? Yeah? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada.